Ji-woon lives within the sounds of Rio de Janeiro. Water splashes into a basin. A skateboard's wheels grind over asphalt. A rufous-bellied thrush chirps, and the voice. The angelic ethereal sound of a young Brazilian man singing floats from an open window. Ji-woon knows the man. Lucas. He's good. Nowhere near my level, but a diamond nonetheless. His voice is the brushstroke Ji-woon has been searching for. To think Lucas practically fell into his lap, the Brazilian man having sung at a recording studio Ji-woon visited. With Lucas's voice, Ji-woon can create art. Genuine, agonizing art. Silky, blood-curdling terror. Ji-woon has already prepared a warehouse at an abandoned harbor for tomorrow's act. Even the most mundane detail required his attention. In the past week, he's transitioned between concert rehearsals to disguising his celebrity visage, staking out his victim, assuming alternate identities, purchasing supplies, and stealing recording equipment. All while paying off his security detail to leave him be. The mundane details are what elevate the splendor of his artwork. Lucas will be dead in a day, and it will be beautiful. Ji-woon freezes as he reaches his hotel room. The door opened a crack. He faintly hears someone rummaging inside. So be it. He knew a crazed fan would take things too far someday. How could they resist him? But he's ready. He'll defend himself, test the invader for operatic sounds like an impromptu aria as he surprises them with a blade in their gut. He pats the knife concealed above his ankle. Ready. Pushes the door open, steps softly on plush carpet, hears the invader around the corner, sees Yeonjin, his manager. Fury meets fury. How dare you step foot in here? Where the hell have you been? She's paranoid about death threats they've been getting from a fan. When security couldn't locate Ji-woon, she came snooping. It's laughable. The threats were nothing but a ploy, a boogeyman he created to throw Yun off his trail if she ever got too close. But he should have expected this. Yun's on top of everything. It's what he respects in her, what makes them a great team. He brings the million-dollar voice, and she smashes through any problem in their way. Usually it works in his favor. In her hand, she holds... No, damn it. His sampler. It contains his personal project, the screams of his murder victims layered into songs. It's an early draft, lacking subtlety. The violence and horror a bit too blatant for the faint of heart. She's disgusted. Couldn't hear beyond the terrorized voices to understand the beauty inherent in human suffering. The hairs on Ji-woon's neck stand on end. He sees the moment with clear eyes. They're dancing on a razor's edge, with Yun dangerously close to discovering who he truly is. Yun holds the sampler as if it's dripping blood. The only solace in Ji-woon's mind is that she doesn't understand what it really is. He knows her. If she thought the sounds were actual murders, she'd have tried to knee him in the crotch and run. But the anger still rattles through her as she moves up to his face. What is this twisted horror bullshit? What if this leaked? You're already attracting crazed, violent fans. How would it look if the media heard the demented sounds you're working on? Mighty One would drop you. Your career would be dead. Ji-woon knows what she really fears. Her career would be dead. For as tall as she stands, as strong as she swings, she's nothing but a scared girl, afraid of failure. He knows how to play her. Drops his head, breathes deeply, wipes the back of his hand over his eyes.
Yun, ever since the death of No Spin, the fire, I'm riddled with horrid thoughts. I lost my friends and I fear I'm losing my mind. I see awful things behind closed eyes. All that guides me through the dark fog is turning my pain into sound, pouring the throes of death from my heart to a song.
Yun's face softens. She sits, commiserates with him. Inside, he's reliving the divine screams of his bandmates as they burned, his swelling heart as they screamed his name, but on his face, he shows nothing but contortions of tragedy. She excuses his error in judgment, confiscates the sampler, requests he stay on hotel grounds until the concert is over. It's for his own good, his safety. She tells him to get a drink from the minibar and cool down. He quietly nods and complies, reminding himself to steal back the sampler in a few days. He lets her pretend she has what he's holding: control. Despite the stifling humidity, Ji-woon hides under a hoodie, large sunglasses concealing his face. Now's not the time to attract attention from rabid fans. He waits till Yun is in a meeting and strolls out of the hotel, a bag of necessities in hand. It's his show now. He pulls earbuds from his pocket, allows the music to envelop him. The song How I Became, recorded 6 months ago in Seoul. It stands as a metaphor for his childhood, written one drunken night while looking over old photographs. He is 7 years old. He sits at the back of the class. He's uncomfortable being seen and speaking. But today is different. In a few minutes, he's presenting on his favorite thing. A young boy shows the class his hamster, but Ji-woon doesn't care. He holds his flute, going over the notes to the song he wrote. He shuffles to the front of the class, places his sweaty fingers on the instrument. Following a deep, unsteady breath, he gently blows out a wisp of air, creating a light, whimsical sound. He closes his eyes, moves his fingers precisely, playfully dancing over each note. He ignores the squeaks of the hamster. The flute's sound carries like chimes in the wind. With one final soul-piercing note, he smiles and opens his eyes. His classmates are huddled around the rodent, laughing with its every move, his teacher too. He walks to the group. Students pass the hamster around as it squeaks incessantly. It finds itself directed into Ji-woon's palm. He takes it in both hands. With one steady movement, he squeezes. A squeal, a slight crunch. No more sound. The children scream. Ji-woon feels nothing. Storm clouds overtake the sky as the first drops of rain spatter onto Ji-woon's sunglasses. He breathes deeply, prepares for what he's played over in his mind. The anticipation nearly brings him to his knees, the joy of the artistic process. He strides to the rear door of a cheap 1980s sedan, glances both ways, and appraises the few locals walking the street. Certain no one's watching, he jams a straightened coat hanger around the top of the window, pushing it through the other side. His thin fingers work quickly. Prior experience in breaking an entry pays off. He hooks the wire around the door lock and flicks it up. Without missing a beat, he slides inside, closes the door, and flattens himself along the back seat. He takes off his hoodie and sunglasses. From his bag, he pulls out rope, a blade, a dusty rag, and a bottle of chloroform. He waits, takes out his earbuds, listens to a song that's not his own, one he heard long ago. He is 8 years old. He sits on his father's shoulders, looking over a sea of human bodies. An elaborate stage is ahead, illuminated by colored spotlights. A man in gaudy, audacious clothing stands in front of a microphone. On each side is a guitarist. Behind him, a drummer. A crash of sound, beautiful rhythmic music. A voice that twists delicately through the melody. His father shouts something, but he can't hear. Shouts again. "This is what you'll do. This is where your talent will take you." He feels a tingle through his spine and sees something incredible. Everyone enraptured, focused intently on the sound of a single man. The emotion of thousands is guided by his voice. He is seen by all. He is loved, and he is wondrous. Ji-woon never played his flute again. He reveled in sounds that reached global audiences, attracted screaming fans, turned men and women into idols. His childhood fear vanished as he learned to divulge himself through the intricacy and pliability of pop, his inner thoughts riding atop sound waves, fusing together with other genres, rock, hip-hop, jazz, punk. It was the music that could deliver him the explosive fame he deserved, a promise that he would never be upstaged. He was no longer confined to his timid shell. He revealed himself through his mastery of music, poured his heart into sound. He became envied, lusted over, and respected for the hits that spilled from his lungs. He takes the earbuds in his hands and smiles. How miraculous that a boy became a god. Rain hammers down on the car's roof. Ji-woon checks the time. On any other day, Lucas would be in his car already. He knows this. He's done his homework. But Lucas is late, and Ji-woon wonders if the storm has altered plans. He feels control slipping away, replaced by something else. It pushes against his chest, forces him to gasp for air heavy and sticky in his lungs. Everything's ruined. He claws his nails into the car seat, forces his mouth shut to keep himself from screaming. All the planning for nothing. He doesn't have time before leaving Brazil to find another beautiful voice. Quickly, he needs music, fumbles for his earbuds, drops them to the floor, frantically scours. The only song playing is his teeth audibly grinding. As he prepares to spill into the street, he sees him. Lucas, drenched under the deluge, walks to the driver's side door. "Get your shit together. The show's about to begin." Ji-woon grabs Lucas's neck in a chokehold, shoves the chloroform-soaked cloth into his face. The two struggle in a frenzied dance. Lucas twists from side to side, reaching his arms back, grabbing for anything. Ji-woon resists the movement, holding the man in place with all his might. Rain smashes down, muting the battle under the pattering of 100 drops, concealing the outside behind a windshield of streaming water. Lucas grabs a handful of hair and pulls Ji-woon forward, breaking the chokehold. He bites deep into Ji-woon's wrist, drawing blood. Ji-woon screams through gritted teeth, pushing the cloth harder into Lucas's face until he's beating him with it. Lucas flails his other arm in a desperate bid, searching for a solution with no plan. His hand relaxes, releasing Ji-woon's hair. He slumps forward, head hitting the steering wheel, blasting the horn. Ji-woon scurries over the seat, pushes Lucas's limp body to the passenger side. He leans back, takes a moment to catch his breath, looks in the rearview mirror, inspects his face, hair, and through a sheet of rain sees a sight he never expected. Yun's car pulling up behind him. He grabs the keys from Lucas's pocket, jams them in the ignition, and slams the accelerator down. Lucas's limp body jostles back and forth in the passenger seat. Street-side shops and graffitied walls are a blur as Ji-woon veers around a corner. Wind and rain lash at the city as if dead set on blowing it apart. Ji-woon loses track of his plan. Usually, he would have Yun fix his problems, but now it's all wrong. He doesn't recognize the streets he's speeding down, only has a vague idea of the direction. Yun remains on his tail. She doesn't know when to quit. The tenacity and courage that proved useful when negotiating his record deal is infuriating now. He's losing control of his artistic process. Hands squeeze the wheel. He'd rip it from the steering column if he could. No, no, you're not going down like this. You have art to make, damn it! He flicks on the radio. Two men talking about something he doesn't know. Searches the channels. A commercial for a fast food restaurant. Recognizes the jingle. Keeps going. Lands on... there it is. Brazilian dance music. Rapid tempo, heavy bass line, percussive guitar notes, and a smooth voice. He pushes the pedal to the floor, dodges a few kids playing in the storm, bolts past an old pickup truck, praying no one comes the other way, swings the wheel hard to the left, nearly loses control in deep water, but recovers to find himself in a perfect turn. Guns it as the song hits the chorus, trusts in the music, shifts with the tempo, slides with the riffs, feels the beauty in everything he does. Music courses through him. He is living art. He is the crescendo. Behind him, Yun's car comes to a crashing halt. It doesn't matter. The music goes on. Ji-woon pulls into the harbor he'd staked out days ago. He reluctantly turns off the radio and scans the area. No sign of Yun behind him, but he's on his guard. Somehow, she knew how to find him. He pulls out his phone, his Mighty One company phone. She's tracking me like an overzealous babysitter. Should have expected this from her. Always a micromanager. But she couldn't have known he was driving the car, only that he was in it. Ji-woon drags out Lucas, barely conscious, and pushes a blade into his back. Before shutting the door, he takes his phone and texts a simple message to Yun. Help. He tosses the device on the car seat along with the rag of chloroform and rope. Needs more evidence. He cuts his palm and presses a bloody hand to the window. That'll do. With a thrust of his blade, he pushes Lucas forward. Thunder shakes the frame of the abandoned warehouse. Lucas sits in front of Ji-woon, bound to a chair, ready to be slaughtered, to sing, to create beauty. Ji-woon pulls out his blade, but hesitates. Something's wrong. He was too messy getting here. He wants to dive into his art, let the blood spill, but Yun threw him off his game. He can't shake the feeling. He knows she doesn't give up easily, or at all. Walks over to a window and looks out. Endless rain, lightning, and there, like a drowned rat skulking through sewage, Yun, so damn persistent. And further back, the flashing lights of a police car. Yun stumbled into a bloody game and has the power to end him in one move. He rummages through his pockets for his earbuds. Can't find them, can't focus, feels the plan slipping away, sees an end to his art, the music cut short, his vision incomplete. No, he can't let it end. He hears the music. It's always been there, sitting on his father's shoulders, washing over him. He inhales it. It circulates through his veins, becomes him. He'll never go back to being the boy he once was. He's an idol. He's a god. He's the trickster. And he has one last trick to play.
Yes!
Subscribe to Lady Judge, cause she's my friend till the end.